Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.32 Naishamate stavaduru kramangrim Naishamate stavat uru kramangrim Sprishati anartha apagamo jadarthat Mahesham padarajobhishekam Niskinchananam navrinnitayavat Naishamati stavat uru kramangrim Sprishati anartha pogamo jadarthat Mahesham padarajobhishekam Niskinchananam navrinnitayavat Naishamati stavat uru kramangrim Sprishati anartha apagamo jadartha Mahesham padarajobhishekam Nishkinchananam navrinnitayavat अनिकेत प्रभु के क्लासे पाठाओ अब पल्लव प्रभु के किचन हेल्प पे पाठाओ सर ये तप्त कांचन प्रभु के किचन हेल्प पे पाठाओ করেছে এই সপ্তাহে এখনো অবধি কিচেন হেল্প সকালবেলা হ্যাঁ নিজের তপ্ত কাঞ্চন প্রভু করেছে ঠিক আছে সো ট্রান্সলেশন unless so Prahlad Maharaj is saying unless they smear their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava completely freed from material contamination persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way, one can become freed from material contamination. So all of you kindly repeat after me. Unless they smear their bodies, the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life, cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way can one be freed from material contamination. Purport: becoming Krishna conscious brings about anartha apagama, the disappearance of all anarthas, the miserable conditions we have unnecessarily accepted. The material body is a basic principle of this unwanted miserable condition. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries. But persons bound by the laws of nature do not know the destination of life, as described in the previous verse. Isa tantram urudam nibadha. They are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called a materialistic education. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur explained that materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life and to stray farther and farther away from the liberation from unwanted miseries. One may ask, why highly educated person do not take to Krishna consciousness? The reason is explained in this verse. Unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. The educators, scholars, and big political leaders worshipped by millions of people cannot understand the goal of life and take to Krishna consciousness, for they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master and the Vedas. Therefore, the Mundaka Upanishad, it is said, Nayam Atma pravachanena labhya na medhaya na bahuna srutena. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education, by presenting lectures in an erudite way, pravachanena labhya, or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. First, one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The only means is to become Krishna conscious. And to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take shelter of a realized soul. A Mahatma whose only interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanastu mam partham daivim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananna manaso Gyatma bhutadim abvayam. O son of Pratha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, under the protection of divine nature, they are fully engaged in the devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. Yashasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasita suraha. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and demigod. Yassa deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tassaita kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So, then Mundaka Upanishad says again, the Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. Such a person manifests his own form. These are the Vedic injunction. One must take shelter of a realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a nishkinchana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home, back to Godhead. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum ulangayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. So, here Prahlad Maharaj is giving us the formula for developing our love for Krishna. And that love gets developed in the heart of the soul when one becomes freed from anartha. Anartha apagamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje. To the degree one becomes freed from anarthas, to that degree one can experience the bliss of surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So, until and unless one surrenders oneself to the process of purification, and the process of it's very difficult for us to experience continuous bliss in the practice of bhakti yoga. And the root cause of all the anarthas, what is the root cause of all the anarthas? Yes, everybody will have to speak. Huh? Okay, material attachments. What is the root cause of material attachment?
Association. Enjoying mentality.
What is the root cause of enjoying mentality?
Envious.
What is the root cause of all these things, whatever you are saying? Yes. So, becoming envious to Krishna. Why we become envious to Krishna? What is the root cause of that? So, ultimate root cause is false ego. False ego, that means false identification. When one identifies oneself as this body, that is the beginning of one's journey of material life. And as a result of this, one gets wrapped up by all the subsequent anarthas: lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. The root cause is the misidentification oneself with this body. So, and we can see how the false ego is so strong. And this false ego gets manifested in the practice of devotional service in so many varieties ways. In so many varieties ways. And from false ego comes material attachment. And this material attachment also get manifested in so many ways in our practice of bhakti yoga. Somebody gets attached to his own way of doing service. Somebody gets attached to his own way of advancing in bhakti. Somebody gets attached to his opinion. Somebody gets attached to the people he is preaching. Somebody gets attached to Govinda's food. Somebody gets attached to a particular type of food habits. Somebody gets attached to so there are so many ways of this material attachment. But when these material attachments are dovetailed in Krishna's service, in a way that will please Krishna and his devotees, then by that process of this dovetailing process, we become purified. Sometimes we see, there was one devotee who wanted to do youth preaching. But he was not getting the youth preaching from the temple. So I told him, so if you want to start boys preaching, then you will have to cook for the boys. You will have to do so many austerities. No, then I will not do it. I will preach in the temple. Why? Because I will get prasadam from the temple. I will simply give lecture. That's all. So there are, and these material attachments of doing things, following our mind, it plays a havoc role. Ultimately, it brings one to the frustration, level of frustration in the association of devotees. So I saw this devotee, is a devotee from our temple. I saw this devotee. So one day, so some days he used to go for distribution of books in Howrah. And lot of books used to go. Lot of books used to go, and he used to be very happy. He used to praise like anything. But someday books did not go. That day he used to criticize like anything. Bekar place. Shialda is more better than that. And he used to go to Shialda. And if Shialda books went, he used to praise. Someday he used to glorify some devotees very nicely. But as soon as that particular devotee touched his false ego, immediately he used to criticize. So these all things comes due to our attachment to false ego. My way is highway. And over a period of time, because he was not, he got problem with his counselor. He left him. He got another counselor. That counselor also told him, do not play with internet. Did not listen. And just few months back, so then he changed the temple. He went to another temple. Thought that my own god brothers are there. Here, these are the people of different gurus. Therefore, they are envious of me. So let me go to the temple of my own spiritual master. He went there. I knew very much in my mind that इसका प्रॉब्लम दूसरा चीज है. जब तक ये वो ठीक नहीं करेगा तब तक कुछ नहीं होगा. So he went there. He was glorifying like anything in the initial days. I was just watching and seeing when his comments are going to be changed. And after few months, as I expected, he started blaspheming those devotees of that temple, even up to the level of sannyasis. This sannyasi is the main culprit. He tagged him. And I heard that he even criticized his spiritual master also. Why? because he was given the service of book distribution over there, because he told that I like book distribution. But when he went to went for Sankirtan, bus party, so much service pressure, he got thoroughly frustrated. So much austerities. So then finally he came to me and told that I understood now that this brahmacharya ashram is not meant for me. I could not understand that in the beginning. I could not understand that in the beginning. Then he was telling that now I will go to another temple. And then what will be your service there? So I will just do whatever they will say. And will you be able to do it? So, and he was feeling humiliated. He was feeling humiliated. Humiliated माने कि सुखेंदु प्रभु? Humiliated मतलब क्या है? So he was feeling humiliated. He was saying that better to live a life of respect, becoming a grihastha and doing my own job. Always, hearing this instruction, that instruction. So then I told him that there also you will have to follow instruction of your service authority, of your home minister. So then what will happen? If you don't follow instruction, then you will be humiliated by your wife, by your children, by your family members. So then he was saying, then I will go to Himalaya and I will do Shanti, Shanti. Understanding what I am saying? So this is fact. What I am saying you, this is fact. So here Prahlad Maharaj is saying that, and I am seeing him from long back, from my college days. He had the tendency of dropping the service and going away. He had the tendency. Anna. He had the tendency to, and when he went for job, he was doing job also, he was a mechanical engineer. When he went for job, within 7 months, he dropped the job and came back. बोले कि नहीं होगा उधर. ये सब एक demons or criticizing them through Shastra. He was very good at Shastra. वो मतलब काफी श्लोकस को याद कर लिए थे और शास्त्र को यूटिलाइज करते थे हमेशा अपने ओपिनियन को बैकअप करने के लिए. He used to always use scriptures to give backup to his opinion, and he used to criticize this materialistic people in the working field with the help of the scriptures like anything. And he left and came back. होगा नहीं वो मेरे द्वारा. So this is the nature of false ego. And this false ego, if we don't take care of it by putting ourselves in the custody of our spiritual authorities, it is impossible to get rid of. It is impossible. Impossible. So, therefore Prahlad Maharaj is saying here, unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, who is completely freed from material contamination, it is impossible to be attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Now, what is the meaning of this? See, Bhagavatam repeats this verse again in 5.12.12. Come again. Five point 12.12. Rahugana tapasa nayati. Nacha ye jajja nirvapanad grihadva. Nachandasanaiva jalagni suryair vina mahat padarajobhishekam. Very important verse, similar type verse. My dear King Rahugana, who is saying to whom? Maharaj Bharat, Jara Bharat is telling to Maharaj Rahugan. My dear King Rahugan, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of a great devotee, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of householder life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, or undergo severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in the water or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. और दीजिए तो very important words. Here the translation is, one cannot realize the absolute truth simply by brahmacharya or strictly following the rules and regulations of householder life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas. So these are all, when one does these activities, maintaining his false ego, one cannot become freed from anarthas. So, until and unless one surrenders oneself to the instruction of a Vaishnava. Now, one can ask this question: what do you mean by it? That unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, what is the meaning? Bina mahat pado rajobhishekam. You see, in two places the same instruction is given. So you just go and put your body's head in the dust of a Vaishnava externally, and you came to know that by smearing the dust you will become pure devotee. But that will not happen. Yes, by taking the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, one has initiated the process of Bhakti Yoga. But this anchor of false ego, and in this process of Bhakti Yoga, we are getting instructed by Srimad Bhagavatam that we will have to lift this anchor of false ego. And this false ego make ourselves puffed up. That my way is a highway. This false ego does not allow oneself to consider the opinion of others. And one who will not be able to bend oneself, he will not be able to get purified in the association of devotees. And until and unless one becomes purified of the false ego, one will never be able to get the visa of the spiritual world from Krishna and the passport from the spiritual master. Prabhupada said in his last instructions, your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate with each other after I leave this world. Many devotees, they left ISKCON movement being frustrated with the ISKCON authorities, or even ISKCON GBCs. But how much they could do after that for Prabhupada? They could not do much for Prabhupada after that. But those who tolerated the challenges, the difficulties which came in ISKCON after Prabhupada left this world. And they simply focused on the instructions Srila Prabhupada has given to them, and they remain humble. So they could only continue in this ISKCON movement. Prabhupada gave sannyas to 54 devotees, and now only 14 sannyasis initiated by sannyas, awarded by Prabhupada, remaining as a sannyasi in ISKCON. So, therefore, and so Prabhupada was asked by one devotee, Prabhupada, why so many devotees, they are leaving? So Prabhupada said that don't be astonished to see that so many devotees are leaving, but be astonished to see that some are continuing their fight against the attack of the illusory energy on us. So therefore, so now pravochan. So here we were seeing in the last verse that Prabhupada was writing in the middle of the purport. Very important words. This is so Prabhupada was quoting these words from Mundaka Upanishad. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya na medhaya na bahuna srutena. That one cannot become Nayam atma pravachanena labhya. Simply pravachan dene se, lecture dene se, in a scholastic way, भगवान प्राप्त नहीं होते हैं. One cannot realize oneself, nor by academic qualification, academic education. One cannot realize the Supreme Lord, nor by no medhaya. तो प्रभुपाद यहाँ पे मेधाया में लिखे हैं क्या? मेधा means all we understand, intelligence. तो प्रभुपाद यहाँ पे लिख रहे हैं, by being intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. प्रभुपाद यहाँ पे जुड़ दिया है. One cannot realize the ultimate goal of life. So therefore, one will have to get rid of this false ego. By serving devotees, by hearing from devotees, by opening our heart to the devotees, by receiving, we'll have to be in the mood of receiver. Bhakti life is not the life of an achiever. And one can think of surrendering oneself to Krishna very easily. One can think oneself to surrender to Srila Prabhupada, who is not with us physically, quite easily. One can even think of surrendering to the spiritual master. Being very easy. But surrendering to our spiritual authorities, that is real test. And that becomes very easy when we develop our love and appreciation for them. Each one of us are having some strength, some weakness. So Prabhupada said that, so Prabhupada was asked this question, that Prabhupada, there are how many pure devotees in ISKCON? So Prabhupada asked one devotee. What Prabhupada asked one devotee? To give answer to this question. How many devotees are there in our movement? That devotee told 120 devotees, Prabhupada. So there are 120 pure devotees in ISKCON. So some people become fanatic. Some people become fanatic. Some people say that, after Prabhupada there is no pure devotee. So I will directly take initiation from Prabhupada. So Prabhupada said that, you see, that day we were hearing the lecture by Shrutakirti Prabhu on Prabhupada's disappearance day. Prabhupada wrote a letter to Siddha Swarupa to one devotee in New Zealand. How many of you can remember that? Australia, New Zealand, Australia. He wrote to Prabhupada that I cannot deal with this temple management. I am leaving now. And he was actually, there was one devotee called Siddha Swarupa Paramahamsa. His name later. Siddha Swarup. So the Siddha Swarup Prabhu at that time, he was a yogi and he had many followers. With all his followers he joined ISKCON. He surrendered to Prabhupada. And this devotee was a bit kind of follower of Siddha Swarup. And he was getting inspired by him and he was getting rid of the service Prabhupada has given to him. So Prabhupada wrote the letter to him that you are considering Siddha Swarup as pure devotee and you are trying to follow him. But for your information, all the followers, those who are following me, they are all pure devotees. And they will go back home, back to Godhead. So why are you considering only Siddha Swarup as pure devotee? So those who are following Srila Prabhupada, so we should follow them. We should develop our appreciation. We should have our appreciation for them. And everybody, even you see in Prabhupada, you will find faults, I can tell you. Prabhupada is quoting many verses wrongly. If some scholars, they hear Prabhupada lecture, they will criticize Prabhupada, sure. Simple words Prabhupada is quoting wrongly. And in Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada is writing that even in the moon there are black spots. So if one only focuses on the black spot, then one will not be able to relish the cooling moon sign. So we will not be able to practice our devotional service, surrendering to our spiritual authorities, if we find faults with them. Yes, there are faults. There will be faults. But before raising question on the faults of our spiritual authorities, first we should check, am I free from faults? Who am I to find faults with my authorities? There are authorities above my authorities who are there to find faults. So you see that, so you can imagine, so now our ISKCON movement is far more organized than in Prabhupada's time. Prabhupada's time तो सब कुछ तो spontaneously होता था. एक महीना ज्वाइन किया है, उसको टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट बना के वो टेम्पल प्रेसिडेंट न चले जाते थे दूसरा जगह पे टेम्पल ओपन करने के लिए. Can you imagine how much it was difficult? अभी how much Prabhupada's disciples they took responsibilities, how much they served, how much they tolerated situations just because to serve Prabhupada. So similarly, and those who takes this humble role, who takes this humble role of giving respect to others and without expecting any respect from others, so then he only will be able to remain in this association of devotees. So because otherwise, and this taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, so I will tell you, there is a big, very senior devotee who served for many years in ISKCON. Very valuable service he has performed. Now the authorities, there is a big issue raised on him. And when, so from the GBC, from the ISKCON bureau side, they told that Prabhu, you will no need to serve now. You take bit rest. For long time you served. You take bit rest. You be in the temple, do some menial service, and take prasad, do your sadhana. He could not tolerate that. He could not tolerate that. So Prabhupada said, never leave ISKCON. So, but when our false ego, when we don't lift that anchor of false ego, which we will have to lift up, you will get the platform, you will get the guidance. आपको साबुन दे दिया जाएगा, पानी दे दिया जाएगा, स्क्रैबर दे दिया जाएगा, बाथरूम दे दिया जाएगा, सब फैसिलिटी दे दिया जाएगा, लेकिन अगर आप सोप डाल के अगर आप घिसेंगे नहीं तो कैसे क्लीन होंगे बोलिए? हम जब बच्चे थे भक्ति में, तब हमारे सीनियर लोग हमें केयर करके, हमें नहला के धुला के बड़ा किया। अभी बड़े होने के बाद तो खुद को नहाना पड़ेगा ना। That means one will have to be proactive in removing one's anarthas. One will have to recognize one's anarthas, one's attachment, and one will have to work on those things by his own, with the help of scriptures, with the help of prayers, with the help of the guidance of the devotees. But one thinks that I am okay, I cannot make any mistake, then he is beyond the scope of purification. And that is the most dangerous state of one's spiritual existence, when one thinks that I can never commit mistake. Or my way is highway. It is the most diseased condition. And believe me, many devotees get frustrated when one maintains such attachment in the association of devotees. One gets frustrated in his married life when one maintains such attachment. But there he will surrender to the ruling of his wife. Why? Because wife is giving him sense gratification. But here another devotee is not giving him sense gratification. Then why he will surrender? Wife is giving him sense gratification for his tongue and genitals and belly. Therefore, he will surrender to his wife. But he is not ready to surrender to his spiritual authority because of ideas not matching. So that is and if one does not take the humble role, then there is no end of it. There is no end of this misunderstanding. There is no end of war of words. There is no end of our false ego. There is no end of our material existence. So therefore, we'll have to understand that unless one smear the dust. What is the meaning of smearing the dust? That means we will have to surrender our existence in the service of the Vaishnavas, in the service of spiritual master, in the service of the acharyas, following their instructions, making them happy. Till the time we are attached to our own happiness, we will be in difficulty. We will be in difficulty. There will be misunderstanding. So smearing the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, that means, you can imagine, smearing the dust. Smearing the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava means following his instructions. Following their instructions. So, and it becomes very, this following instructions, it's a loving surrender. One cannot make grudging surrender. And that loving surrender comes by having genuine appreciation in our heart for them. And there will always be, you see, in Gauriya Math, in between the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there were so many misunderstandings. In ISKCON, there are misunderstandings. In the organization, I am saying. In Grihastha life, also there are misunderstandings. Between husband and wife, between the children and father, between the relatives. Everywhere there is misunderstanding. Kali Yuga is filled with misunderstanding. There is misunderstanding between the manager in the company and the employee. Is it not there? Yes. Everywhere there is misunderstanding. Where you will go? Boliye. So the only solution is to make ourselves amended. हमारे खुद के चेतना को शुद्ध करना पड़ेगा. And in the association of devotees, seeing the good qualities of devotees, appreciating them, serving them, pleasing them, that is the secret of smearing the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Will your spiritual master be happy if he sees that this my disciple is not happy in the association of devotees? He will be pained at his heart. So that we will have to think, what is the meaning of surrendering to spiritual master? So you can see that here Bharat Maharaj is saying to Rahugan that there are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. I've seen, Guru Maharaj was asked one question, that Guru Maharaj, I am getting this service under this devotee, I am getting that service under that devotee, I am getting that service under that devotee. Which one should I do? So then Guru Maharaj said that as long as you are serving in ISKCON, in this Prabhupada movement, any service will please me. Any service in this movement you perform, that will please me. We'll have to see spiritual master in the dealings of the devotees with whom I am practicing bhakti. We'll have to see in that connection. So, there is no other way. That's why Prabhupada again and again saying one quote, one line of Narottam Das Thakur's song. Which one can anybody say? I could not understand the meaning of this previously. But later, slowly I understand why Prabhupada is again and again quoting this point. One part of Narottam Das Thakur's song. Anybody here? chadiya vaisnava-seva nistar payeche keba. What does it mean? इसका मतलब क्या है? सुन भी लिया, बोल भी देते हैं, लेकिन इसका मतलब मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता था. I could not understand the meaning of it much. That means one cannot be delivered by any shortcut means. What is a shortcut means? Oh, I have got now initiation. I will chant 16 rounds. I will follow 4 regularity principles. And I will be at my own. That's all. I don't require the devotees anymore. I will be at my own. He is Kanishta Adhikari. He will never get purified from his anarthas. Prabhupada said that ISKCON is a diamond cleansing machine. And how the diamonds are cleansed? All the diamonds with all the impurities, they are put in one machine. And when the machine is switched on, the diamonds, they rub each other and clean themselves and they become shiny. So if one of the diamonds says, no, I cannot tolerate this rubbing, then he will not be shiny. So therefore, in the association of devotees, there will be many dissensions, there will be many misunderstandings, there will be many clash of ideas, many things. But still, we'll have to serve the devotees. Because without serving the devotees, there is no other way of purifying ourselves from our anarthas. Therefore, chadiya vaisnava-seva, Maharaj call করছে nistar payeche keba. Nistar payeche means, just a minute. So now, this nistar payeche keba means what? Huh? There is one. Huh? হ্যাঁ কি অক্কা পেয়েছে কি বলছে রক্ষা রক্ষা তো নিস্তার পাইয়াছি keba means one cannot become free from the clutches of the illusory energy. One cannot become free from the clutches of the illusory energy until and unless one takes this challenges to purify oneself by serving the desires of a Vaishnava. So there is no other way. There is no other way there is no other shortcut way. So therefore, if we understand this, I can tell you, we can, if we realize it, if we understand it, we can really enjoy in Krishna conscious life, because we will be tested. Again and again we will be tested by getting difficulties in our life in so many ways. At that time, how are we taking shelter of Krishna and his devotees? Our success will be depending upon that. But if we depend more on our intelligence, on our caliber, on our false ego, then we will become failed. So that's it for now. Any
cooperating with the devotees, we have different plan. While putting the plan, so sometimes it may happen that it seems like that my plan is okay, but sometimes that the devotee is not understanding the plan. So in that case, it's very hard to the attachment, maybe due to the attachment of the plan, or something like that. How can we tackle this kind of thing?
It's okay. So I have a different plan. I can suggest that plan to my spiritual authority, and after that, whatever he says, that we should follow. Or if that spiritual authority tell us that okay, you can fulfill your plan with the help of another devotee, so he can do it. So just like recently one devotee was telling me that I want to do farm community development. I have earnest desire. So I made him connect to another devotee who is also having the same training and education, because I am not good at that field. That may be. Just like that. So we will have to make the devotees understand about our plan. We'll have to express that. We'll have to discuss with them.
Sometimes it happens that our attachment to the plan is so.
And if there is some danger in executing that plan, then our spiritual authorities may say that don't do right now. So then we will have to be humble. to accept that reality.
While cooperating, we sometimes maybe we need to compromise. Like I heard that Jagatava Swami Guru Maharaj, when he was in Mayapur, he wanted to do many developments.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When we are residing in the community of devotees, many times we have to compromise our own plan. That's true. And purification. See, ultimately Krishna is the supreme controller. We'll have to understand it. Our problem is that we forget that. We forget that. Okay, we submitted our ideas, our plan to the temple authorities, to the counselor, to the spiritual authorities, to the service authorities, and after that, whether it is getting sanctioned or not, that is up to Krishna. We have done our part. We must understand it. Ultimately, Krishna is the controller. So right now in our temple there are many developments happening. Some devotees will develop a temple in Damdam, some devotees will develop a temple in Rajarhat, some devotees will develop a temple in Howrah, Ganges Garden, some devotees will develop temple in Sonarpur. So such kind of things are coming up. So in one sense devotees are getting divided, but in another sense Prabhupada wanted 10 temples in Kolkata. So there are two ways of seeing it. So now whatever you think, if you cannot do anything, you simply criticize devotees, that will not help you, that will not help them. You will have to simply accept it that I cannot do anything. I cannot change their plan. I am not the controller. Temple authorities are there, GVCs are there. So by their plan everything is happening. So let me just cooperate with their plan. But if we chalk out my own plan separately, we will become frustrated. Yes? Next question? Any other question?
Sometimes we may feel that as we are conditioned, so obviously it is good to follow the ideality or morality, but sometimes it's in reality it doesn't happen. So sometimes you feel that whatever instruction is coming to me, so this is from that real condition you were not able to do it. So at that time what should we do? Or it seems it appeared to us that it's whatever the instruction comes, that is like burdens of excuse appears to us.
So then we should discuss with the
But he is mistaken in his ideality or his morality, so what can I do? He is not understanding our emotions or other things.
Yeah, we will have to make him understand somehow or other. There is no other way. There is no other way. And see, there is no end of it. That's what I am saying. There is no end of it. Where does it end? কার সঙ্গে এটা আমাদের এন্ড হবে, এটা হচ্ছে আমার প্রশ্ন। আরে গুরু আমাদের থেকে দূরে আছে, দীক্ষা গুরু, এটা আমাদের অনেক ভাগ্য ভালো। তাছাড়া তাকেই আমরা উড়িয়ে দিতাম। এই চুপ কর তুই, অনেক বলেছিস। আমাদের there is no end. There is no end of it. যতক্ষণ না till the time we are developing our consciousness which is completely aligned with the Guru Parampara. There is no end of it. এর end কোথায়? End কোথায়? Simply we will remain in this material world. This is fact. And our progress will be slow. প্রত্যেক মুহূর্তে নতুন নতুন জিনিস আসছে, প্রত্যেক মুহূর্তে আমি নতুন নতুন আইডিয়া ডেভেলপ করছি, আর প্রত্যেক মুহূর্তে আমি নতুন নতুন, এ সম্ভব নাকি? ইট ইজ নট পসিবল। It's not possible. একটা এক্সাম্পল দিই আমি, তো যেমন তো মহারাজ আমাকে বলছিলেন, মহারাজ আমাকে প্রথমে স্কুল প্রিচিং এর সেবা দিয়েছিলেন, স্কুল প্রিচিং, স্টুডেন্ট প্রিচিং ডেভেলপমেন্ট। তো এখন ব্যাপার হচ্ছে যে, তো মহারাজের আইডিয়া ছিল যে আমি স্কুল প্রিচিং করব, স্টুডেন্ট প্রিচিং করব, এবং মানে এই মানে যে ছাত্র সমাজের প্রচারটা মানে হচ্ছে ভক্তি, মানে নাম অর্থ বা ভক্তিবৃক্ষ টাইপের প্রিচিং, কিন্তু ওটা ইউথদের জন্য। এখন আমি তো ওই ধরনের সিস্টেমে করে আসিনি সেবা, ঠিক আছে, আর তাদেরকে বার করাও খুব মুশকিল বাড়ি থেকে, আর রেজাল্ট ওরিয়েন্টেড প্রিচিং আমি করেছি এতদিন। এখন আমি তো ফ্রাস্ট্রেটেড হয়ে যাব পুরো। আমি মহারাজকে বললাম, মহারাজ মানে আমি তো এই সিস্টেমে ট্রেন্ড আপ হয়ে আসিনি, আমি এই সিস্টেমে ট্রেন্ড আপ হয়ে এসেছি, তো মহারাজ আমি এই সেবাটা করে আপনাকে আরো বেশি আমি কন্ট্রিবিউট করতে পারবো। তখন মহারাজ বলেন, ঠিক আছে তুমি তাহলে তাই করো, ঠিক আছে। সো আই এক্সপ্রেসড ইট। মহারাজ দেখছে এমনি তো কোনো হোপ নেই, যা করবে কর, কিছু একটা কর, ওকে ফাইন। Now, lot of, you'll understand, because you are not in a relationship, lot of adjustment and sacrifice we need to do in a relationship. Now you are not in a relationship. Huh? You are in relationship with your parents at max. You don't feel that relationship with the devotees. अरे क्या है, 4 साल बाद मैं चला जाऊंगा कहीं पे, वो डिवोटी लोग कहाँ पे रहेंगे. We don't feel any relationship with the devotees. We don't feel any relationship with Prabhupada. We don't feel any relationship with the spiritual master. We only feel relationship with sense gratification. That is a fact. That is a fact. And therefore we don't understand it. We will understand it very much when we enter into relationship. We take the material friendship also what? As what? अरे फार में गया, वो मेरा बात सुना या नहीं सुना. But when you enter into a relationship of heart, then you will have to sacrifice so many things. Because you have developed that love for that relationship, therefore you are ready to sacrifice. So until and unless we develop our appreciation and love with the devotees, it is impossible to follow them, to work with them, to sacrifice our false ego. And that love will come how? By seeing how the devotees are trying to serve Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. That should be our connection. That should be our way of seeing. Even if one is having thousands of faults, but he is trying sincerely to serve. That's all. Otherwise, you cannot be able to serve with anyone. It is my experience. I'm really telling you. I'm really telling. मैं देखा, मतलब एक भी पर्सनैलिटी मैंने नहीं देखा अभी तक जिसके ऊपर किसी का कोई शिकायत नहीं है. इस्कॉन में, मैं रियली बता रहा हूं. Even up to the spiritual masters in ISKCON, I am telling you. Even up to the spiritual masters, even their disciples are criticizing him. So where you will go? You tell me. Where you will go? This is reality and this is fact. This is fact. So in that sense, nobody is free from faults. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, you read the last part of the first part. There Prabhupada is writing, even the moon is having black spot. You cannot appreciate the moon. You cannot appreciate the cooling rays of the moon if you focus on the black spot. Then how you will be, with others in some relationship, in any relationship. If wife only sees faults in the husband and the husband only sees the faults in wife, how the relationship will stay? So there is no end. There is no end of demands of our mind, and there is no end of there is no end of misunderstanding in fulfilling that demand. With anybody, not only with devotees, even in material relationship. You see? So हम तो पूरे दुनिया को तो सब चेंज नहीं कर सकते, ना, but at least we can change our consciousness, and that will bring all happiness and joy in our life. Okay? Any other question? किसी का और कोई प्रश्न है तो कीजिए. मैं देखा हूं प्रभु, लोग बहुत क्लास देते हैं और क्लास में लोग बोलते हैं कैसे मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग को अवॉइड किया जाए. मैंने देखा है, they give many formulas, but in their life also they are facing the same issues with their own people. So therefore, it is a part of our purification process. We should understand it. It is a part of our purification process, and we simply need to accept it and serve devotees instead of thousands of misunderstanding. Giving priority to the desire of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. Not grudgingly, lovingly. Forgive and forget. And serve. And see the brighter side of devotees. And try to serve. Try to appreciate. That is a fact.